that nickname, Rock?
Dr. Chen says my name Frank Chapa. Mine's for Frank Zappa.
Okay. He's a rock.
Yeah, he's a rock.
Joe?
Do you like your nickname?
Yeah.
Definitely things that make lessons.
There used to be a nickname like a Shane Papa, but it's too.
Yeah, it's Josh, the trombone player from yesterday. He wrote it like an original tune, and he wanted it to rhyme with Frank Chapa, so he just wrote it as Shank Papa.
Shank Papa. Cool. What are we gonna play something?
Yeah, can we do all the things you are, I guess?
Sure. I like this piano better, so as long as there's no other pianists, let's come up here if you don't mind. You guys might want to scoot back. The first 2 rows might get wet.
Okay.
crossover. Yeah, I'm curious with you play with such a nice light alto sound, which I love. I feel like, there's kind of cannonball adderley, like school. I'm overgeneralizing. I'm gonna play with the biggest possible sound, and then maybe, I don't know, do you like Paul Desmond?
I love Paul Desmond. I like, Dick Oates?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Dick Oates, Art Pepper. But I've recently been going into that school as well. Like, I feel like I'm playing lead alto a lot more now.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm trying to be able to do both.
Yeah.
Those are my guys. I love those guys.
Super cool. Yeah, I got to play with Dick a little bit.
Yeah.
In Colorado.
He's like my guy. He's like my number one guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, somebody who takes that kind of sound even more to the extreme on the modern New York scene, who I really recommend that you check out, is this guy Alex Loray. Does that name anything to you? The last name is spelled like the word lore, Lore, but with a capital R. I think just like given your sound, you'd be really interested in. He's just going like the exact opposite way as like a lot of the alto trend. So I'm curious what that experience playing duo was like. I kind of tried to go a different direction than maybe you would be used to. You seem to totally thrive and not miss a beat, literally, figuratively. But how did it feel for you?
It felt good. I felt myself trying to be super rigid when I was improvising. Because I felt like if I just, for 1 second, wasn't thinking of it, I was going to lose it. Like, I wasn't going to play, like...
Right, because I wasn't doing too much defining of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so in a lot of ways, it was really nice that you were defining the time a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit scary.
Yes, it was. I was a little bit scared. I honestly did lose it a couple times.
There was one moment where it was like, like coming out of the bridge on your second chorus or something. It got a little icy. So, I mean, we all need to be able to play with nobody else keeping the time for us. Yeah. I think that should always be a goal. You're doing really well, but there were a couple of moments. Yeah. This really doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing, but maybe it'll help conceptualize things for you, for all of us. One meaningful lesson in something like a duo situation that I keep coming back to, from my teacher Fred Hirsch, is to never think about what's missing. Okay, so we could do this. Let's just play right at the top of all the things you are. Here's another way we could do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing wrong with that. There's totally a time and a place for that. But to me, it does not take advantage of this situation, right? We have this situation where we actually have so much freedom because there's not a bass player playing all 4 beats. There's not a drummer, defining the time. Yeah. And, what can, I think a cool question to ask yourself when you're not in a traditional setting is what can these instruments do together that's unique to these instruments, right? So that's, part of the reason I know that you get to play with Dr. Chen. I'm sure she does really cool stuff, so I want to try to do something different to just send you on a different path. Yeah. But I also I like playing duo this way. It's a good reason to play duo. It's not just like, we couldn't find a bass player. It's like, what could we do? So I recommend when you do come to those moments of, the bass player didn't show up, it's like, what can this ensemble do together without saying like, oh crap, I gotta walk bass with my left hand the whole time. I see. Yeah. So let's try it one more time, and this time I want you to try to really internalize the time, not externalize it. Okay. We're going to try to keep time together. Let's both be sparse and see if we can come out together. It'll be a little experiment.
On the head or just
let's just start off. Right. No, let's do the right at the solo. Okay. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was cool. We were at the same place.
Chocolate, yeah.
Can you leave about twice as much silence?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Take a second. Check out what I'm doing.
Okay.
You don't have to imitate what I'm doing, but just use it as a space to. And I'm gonna rejoin you. You know, the energy's changing, and I'm gonna come back into the river.
Okay.
Okay. One more time. Good. Nice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. That had some kind of fun moments.
Yeah.
I'm getting really flat dynamics from you,
Okay.
which is kind of cool because we're both playing soft. But can you give me more
Okay.
shaping with the lines? And feel free to make it if you want a little bit more playful.
Okay.
In terms of space and the dynamics and contrast that we might make. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, I felt like. Yeah, because I think right after you told me about the dynamics, I realized I was trying to play very quiet.
Yeah.
To now like, I guess like in the setting that we're in.
Well, it was cool because
Yeah.
we were matching each other's vibes. We were listening.
It felt immediately more comfortable for me.
When you played more
Yeah.
more dynamics. Yeah, interesting. This is only mildly related, but I like to do side notes in master classes to teach some things. I think of two kind of main ways of like threads of dynamics. On one hand, you have accents, and think of bebop players creating a great swing or bebop feel is really all about accents. So if we're playing All Things You Are, and we're gonna. Right. I tell my piano students, like, your line should be swinging if you just play it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
right? Just like we wouldn't talk at the same volume every single syllable. We, jazz is very conversational. We bring out certain notes. So that's like one thread. The other thread for pianists, my big example is Keith Jarrett, who goes the other way. He sometimes plays with accents, but more so he plays like a really legato touch, and he shapes. And I'm not a really smart guy, so like shaping is basically when the line goes up, you get louder. When the line goes down, you get softer. Right. So instead of that some of our favorite musicians do, and for me, I get this from Keith, I get this from Brad Meldau, sorry for all the pianist talk, is that they combine multiple ways of creating tension and release. By which I mean, higher is tenser, louder is tenser, and generally faster is tenser. And then you also combine harmonic tension and release, like playing a little bit outside of the changes, and you can create these kind of waves of like, oh, right? So if I'm, playing all things. There's just kind of feeling, right? And that goes with that kind of shaping of phrase. So let's do one more chorus. I feel like it's been more than 20 minutes, but that's okay.
No, we have 2 minutes left.
Time flies. Let's do one more chorus, and I want you to think about those two methods of creating volume, rhythm. So try some where you're really hitting into some accents. Thinking like a drummer. By the way, if you guys have never done this, I love transcribing drum solos. I'll transcribe drum solos and then put notes to it. So if it's I'll come up with like a little line for it. It's a really fun exercise. It can be fun. And then have some where it's that legato feel, and you're making I call it a mountain range phrase, where the crescendo's up, and then crescendo's up, so you're kind of like drawing a little mountain range.
Okay.
Make sense? Let's see what happens. You're playing so great.
Thank you.
It's really cool. 1, 2, 2.
Yeah, it's like thinking of it in different ways makes me play it like way different.
Yeah. And for me, the first 16 bars, like you just got my attention in some different ways.
I see.
Putting in the accents, I kind of lost the thread.
Yeah.
As we went through it, I didn't hear it so prominently. But I think it would be really useful to practice. You could I like doing very controlled practice exercises. So I would do like 4 bars of each. So you're like almost trading with yourself. So I'm gonna play. Right, you're almost like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like two very different musical personalities coming out. Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for playing.
Thank you.
So the next will be the pianist coming from UT-RGV, Isaac Mancillas. Come forward.
No nickname? Do you know Dr. Chen gives all these students nicknames?
I'm aware.
Yeah.
You will eventually get
But
one.
do you have like any nicknames in any other part of your life?
No.
No? Like not your family? They don't call you anything?
No.
I shared with Dr. Chen that my nickname in college was the Weatherman. Yeah, because I would get up and take a jog before all my suite mates got up, so they'd be like, "Hey, how's the weather?" Hey, Weatherman, how's the weather? All right, and do you want to play solo for me, or do you want to play with me, or
Could we play
Yeah, of course.
together? Yeah.
do you want me to be like a bass player, or you want to play a piano duo?
I guess a bass player.
Okay.
Because I'm more familiar with that, I guess.
Okay, cool. And you're doing solo.
Yeah.
Great. Any introduction or anything, or are we right on?
Let's do it right on. Cool. Right on. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4.
thoughts, but is there anything specific that you're struggling with that you could use my input on, do you think?
What are your thoughts?
Okay, first of all, you know that teachers always do the compliment sandwich? This is what you're supposed to do. You gotta start with a compliment, then just like really go at them, tell them how bad they are, and then end with a compliment. And I never knew that term, but once I found it out, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I do. I'm such a cliche. But there's a lot to compliment you about. That's the good news. It's sounding really good. You're making the changes. You're playing interesting things. There were some harmonic, like a lot of harmonic color. You've got good left hand, right hand coordination. It's all happening. So it's a matter of polishing and getting the style better. One thing that I noticed, and that I think you want to work on, and I have a couple of cool ideas how we can tackle it, is it feels like going across changes, there's usually a little bit of a hiccup or interruption. While you're in C minor, great, you're playing killing stuff in C minor. While you're in G minor, you're playing great G minor stuff. While you're in C7, you're playing great C7 stuff. But there's a little hiccup in between. Have you ever noticed this?
No, like maybe just in the way I think about it, but I guess I never really like capture that, like knowing that.
Yeah, and what that's doing, in my opinion, having just tried a very small sample size, is it's kind of just limiting your phrasing when you improvise. Because if you go back and listen to yourself, there's so often like a quarter note on beat one. You'll play. I'm exaggerating, but there's kind of this interruption of the line. And so I want to work on that, and I think we could pair working on that potentially with incorporating some more non-chord tones. Because I think a nice next step for you, you're playing within the scales, you're playing some alternate scales and some altered scales and stuff. But what's missing is things like neighbor tone, like those kind of chromatic notes that aren't like out, but are just ornamenting the chord and is going to make it sound more rich.
Mm-hmm.
So those are kind of two things that I want to tackle together. Let's do an experiment, if we can. Let's try just right hand a little slower. And your assignment is to play nonstop 8 notes.
Okay.
All right? No musicality here.
Okay.
We're leaving that at the door. Let's see if you can keep 8 notes going for all.
Circulation
solo.
breathing.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. A little bit tricky.
Yeah.
It would be worth it. I think it would be really worth your time to put on a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and try that at some different tempos. Try it really nice and slow, or you can focus and then move it to some faster and medium tempos. Because I think just getting that uninterrupted flow is going to be really nice. Now, let's talk about how to practice incorporating the non-chord tones into that. So, first thing, let's do the easy part. Let's practice just holding the third of each chord.
Okay.
So just.
Okay.
And if crowd wants to participate, if you know this tune, you can all sing the third along with us. Starting there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Second easiest part is that now on those are all right on B1 or B3. So on the 8th note before, on on the and of 4 or the and of 2. I want you to add a chromatic lower neighbor. So whatever the half step is below that.
Okay.
Let's do it together.
Okay.
You guys are welcome to sing along if you'd like. The Jaws theme. One, two, 3. We'll kind of gloss over this just because of timing, but a step to add to that, which is still very, very rigid, would be to do that and then an arpeggio up from the third. So like. And you can kind of see that that's going to be a fingering conundrum for you. Do you want to talk about that, or do you think you could work that out with a little bit of time?
I think with a little bit of time I can work it out for sure.
Let's do just a slow version. It's not going to be perfect.
Sure.
Not that there is a perfect. But I just want you to have that experience. We can keep going. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Yes. We got to go with the changes. So. Oh, I'm losing it. You're exactly right. I was doing it twice as fast. My bad.
Okay.
Yep, you're exactly right. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. There. But good, yeah, those first 8 bars or so were fantastic. And you're gonna get that fingering easily.
Right.
So to me, the crown jewel of this exercise then, is that we're gonna combine these two things. On one hand, we're gonna play consistent 8th notes. And on the other hand, we're gonna do that and of 4 into 1, hitting the lower chromatic neighbor to the third each time. So this is tough.
Yeah.
But listen for it. Help you. This is only one tool, but it's a really valuable tool to help you connect these chords a little bit better, which is, I think, where you're struggling most.
I get that, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to throw you into the fire now, with knowledge that you're going to put in some more hours, and and this is going to get easier as you do more of that formative practice. But let's just try it now so that you can have the experience.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, what's that chord? G minor, right? Yeah. So you're aiming for that B flat. I know. There's a lot to think about. You don't have to do the arpeggios now.
Oh,
you're just
okay,
aiming
so
for that and a 4 to 1.
Oh, okay.
Just
and
that.
consistent 8th note lines?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You can use the arpeggios if you want.
Right. Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, ready, and. Yeah, it's hard. Now you're thinking about a lot of stuff at the same time. These are really valuable exercises in my opinion. So I like to practice 2 half steps leading up, 2 half steps leading down, and then an enclosure. So I was showing off. And the beautiful thing about these exercises is that it doesn't matter what the chord is, right? Like, this is just a half-step relationship. So once you learn how to approach, let's say, a D natural, you know how to approach that D natural, whether it's the 3rd, the 7th, the 5th, the 9th, whether it's on a B flat major, a B minor, a G7, like, there's only 12 notes. So if you can learn how to target those notes effectively on the beat, then you've got it for any chord and any chord tone. Like, you don't have to learn it super differently if you're approaching the 3rd or the 7th. So I think this would be a really great thing for you to do with your improvisation, to get you playing more across the bar line. Because what I hear is a lot of one-measure phrases.
Okay, yeah,
And
I get that.
it's just going to be limiting for you going forward. So how am I doing on time?
3 minutes left.
3 minutes, okay. Let's do one more thing while we have 3 minutes.
Sure.
Before the big crook comes out. So let's try a couple of different phrase models. Have you spent much time thinking about phrasing?
Not really, no.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to kind of teach and learn. But here's a couple things to practice. So first, these are very basic. I call it play one, rest one. Okay? One means one measure. You can go a little bit over or to the side of one measure. It doesn't have to be beat 1 to the end of 4 exactly, and then but something like. Call and response, right? And it means you're not going to be playing some chords, right? And that's okay. You don't have to play every chord.
Right, yeah.
Chords are going by. You're improvising over the changes. You're not playing the changes. Let's try it. 1, 2, 1. Rhythm every time.
Okay.
So can you vary the rhythm? Maybe try some pickups, some rests, some longer notes.
Yeah.
Some quarter notes. Yeah.
Yes.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Still sound pretty similar. It's all kind of da ba da ba da da or da 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 da. So maybe try to spill over a little bit into the next measure.
Okay.
Nothing's bad. I'm just trying to get you a little bit out of some of these rigid habits that you're getting into.
Yeah.
Okay. And to me, when these things happen, what I do is I ask myself, what if question? What if I end on the end of 1? What if I end on B3? What if I end with 3 quarter notes in a row? What if I end on, I don't know, a Charleston da da. So when I find myself doing the same thing, I just ask myself, well, what would it be like if I tried this other thing? Give me some more variety.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let me show you one more phrase model and we'll move on, which you guessed it, is play 2, rest 2.
Okay.
That was two phrases. I want one phrase.
Okay.
One, two, ready. Beautiful. Very nice. Cool. I think if you did some practice using those phrase models, it would open things up. Because when you first played, you're pretty much playing every measure.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So practice incorporating rests intentionally as one of the tools of your playing. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. So next person will be our second horn player of the day, Paul the Apostle McCoy.
When are you leaving campus today?
Right after this, 11:30. Yeah,
What's that, 11:30?
yeah. I'm gonna take a car to the.
It's been a pleasure. Oh my goodness.
My pleasure.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
let's stay in touch, please.
I'd love that. Yes. Okay, I'll find you on Facebook and all those kind of things.
Yes, that'd be
And
wonderful.
like I said, my daughter lives probably 5 miles from you.
Yeah, come visit.
We'll visit.
Take care. My pleasure. All right, what are we playing?
So 15 minutes each.
Oh no, have I been going over?
No. It's now. It's 10:50 now. But if you want to.
You started late.
What?
There'll never be another you?
Let's do it. No time to waste.
Right on that? Sure.
20 minutes.
1, 2, 1, 2. Straight a little bit.
Nice, man. Do you check out Dexter Gordon a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of my guys, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, I hear that inflection in there, which I love. That is definitely intended as a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really nice. I can tell that you're really listening to yourself. I love these moments. I heard you do it both in the class and today, where you create a sequence, you repeat yourself, but you kind of adjust for the changes, and you have a really nice patience.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. There's a. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm trying to say, but like, there's the technical part of playing, and then there's like the kind of soulful storytelling element, and you've got a lot of those like really nice parts of that soulful storytelling element happening, especially when you do that. So that's so lovely. So the tempo took a little while to settle in, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm trying to fix on the most is like my time.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you doing to work on that?
I saw a video by Patrick Bartley. He was like, oh, like you like to get like better time, you gotta like practice drumming at least a bit.
Cool.
Like,
Yeah.
and like if not like actual drums, and like just like drumming with your hands. So I've just been like whenever I can, just trying to just keep like a drum groove in my like on my body, my brain at all times.
Yeah, that's great. Let me give you a few
Yeah.
things that have helped me over time. So, over time. Sorry, I'll leave soon. Don't worry. I don't think this is necessarily a prime issue for you guys. So, rushing has always been my problem.
Yeah.
Like, I just get excited about music. My body gets tense. For me, as a pianist, I stop breathing. You can't do that. But one of the things that's helped is to track where different subdivisions lie. Because I know a lot of students who, for instance, when they go from playing mostly eighth notes to mostly, let's say, eighth note triplets, or from quarter notes to eighth notes, or from eighth notes to 16th notes, or whatever it is, things shift a little bit because you're not necessarily subdividing. So kind of a fun exercise is you can choose two of those subdivisions, and you can trade fours, trade twos with yourself, playing primarily in each of those subdivisions. For instance, let's try quarter notes and then eighth note triplets. So I'll demonstrate first. So, it doesn't have to be 100% in that subdivision. You can play around with it, but it's mostly a quarter note phrase. Those are eighth note triplets. One, triplets. Okay, good for you. Want to try it?
Sure, yeah. With quarter notes and or quarter notes and triplets.
Yeah.
Eighth note triplets?
Is that cool?
Yeah.
I know the eighth note triplets are a little fast, so let's see.
Yeah.
Come on, we'll go a little slower. One,
Okay.
two, one, two, what was that like?
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah,
that's a lot different than
it
these two.
sometimes took you a little second to find where those eighth note triplets wanted to lie,
Yeah.
right? Let's try a different one. Let's try offbeat chord notes
Oh, okay.
and then eighth notes.
Okay, yeah.
So, one, two, three. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
A little tricky, and let's just
tricky.
do one more for fun. Let's do quarter note triplets, and then 16th notes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One, two,
Yeah.
take a little
Okay.
breath in between.
Okay.
One, two,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It takes a second to adjust.
Yeah.
So that's you practice, and you practice that at a bunch of different tempos, and especially really slowly, because you have to be much more precise.
Yeah.
Really
especially,
slow,
yeah.
whereas faster you can get away
Okay.
with a lot potentially.
Yeah, okay.
So I really like that that exercise. And speaking of drumming, maybe you've already done this, but something that I do, I love drumming too.
Yeah.
It gets me in a different headspace. Like it gets me focusing on the rhythm instead of it's so easy to focus on all the notes and
Harmony and
chords and
yeah.
all the stuff you have to do at the piano. So one thing that I do is I trade with myself. I do 4 bars or 8 bars, or whatever I choose, playing, and then 4 bars or 8 bars drum.
Okay.
So that rhythm is always at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah. Okay.
I sound so lonely, I trade with myself. So, for instance, on this tune, if I'm trading every 4 bars, and when I drum, I don't know if you do it this way, I like to use my heels, the toes don't really do much, or it's hard, and then I'll just drum on my lap. So,
Okay.
I'll start drumming. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Get that. Showing off my drumming skills.
Yeah.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah.
I love the mindset that it gets me into when I play.
I need to sit down, please. Okay. I lost it. Okay.
Yeah, maybe play a little longer because I know you have a little bit of adjustment between holding the saxophone and then and then drumming. So maybe 8 bars and 8 bars.
Okay. Oh, this is tough. I lost it.
Yeah, I'm a little lost too. So yeah, I would recommend when you're playing saxophone, this is kind of ironic, but when you're playing saxophone, play like you're drumming. And then when you're drumming, think melodically.
Okay.
You know. Like, yeah, it's kind of like a weird flip of you want to bring in.
Yeah, it's
missing
like
element.
it's like adding like notes to like the rhythms like you were saying earlier. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to try one more time, or you want to try in the practice? Let's just do one more.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Good. Yeah, that was already so much more successful.
Yeah, it takes a lot of brain power.
Yeah. The way I like to think about it, I was listening to this podcast. Does anybody know who the comedian Pete Holmes is? He's a comedian. He had an HBO show. Anyway, he was talking about comedy, and he says that one of the things about comedy is like the way he sees it. Your brain is like you don't just have one voice in your brain. Your brain is like a committee. There's like 8 different days for one saying, "Hey, I'm hungry." The other saying, "Oh, I'm stressed about this thing." The other saying, "I'm tired." And I think it's this, and he says that comedy is giving the microphone to to a part of your brain that you wouldn't usually give it to. So, like we bring one part of ourselves out to society and we say, we're very polite and we try to make people feel good. And then comedy, maybe you're giving the microphone to the part of yourself that's just like, screw everybody. And I think jazz can be that same way too, not in the sense that we're giving the microphone to somebody weird, but we have these different points of things that we could focus on. We could focus on arpeggios. We could focus on non-chord tones. We could focus on playing out. We could focus on interacting. And so here, this is training us to give the microphone in our brain, if you're following this, to the rhythmic side of ourselves, or we're really just we're really focused on the group.
Yeah.
And that's not the only place to live, but it can be a really great mindset to get into, and especially if you feel yourself struggling with tempo and rhythm, which has definitely been a struggle for me, then this is a really good place to start.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Last but not least, we're going to welcome David Lelopton Zamora.
Hey, what do you want to do? You want to play for me? You want to play with me?
I think one of my biggest insecurities is solo piano, and I would regret it if I didn't get your advice on
Let's
that.
do it. Solo piano, you're trying to do something really hard. It's a fast tempo, and I mean tempo at like playing that kind of tempo solo piano is really, really difficult. I mean, you listen to Art Tatum, who I know you told me that you like, and of course we all like worship as pianists. And when he plays those fast things, a lot of it is note for note the same every time. Like you listen to 2 different recordings, he knew exactly what he was going to do. So to be improvising and trying some different things with this tempo is cool. It was proven the whole time. It's great. I have a handful of suggestions and ideas for you, but do you have a question for me that you want to focus on?
I guess what to do with my left hand.
Yeah.
That's the biggest.
I mean, you're already doing a lot of it. So, and I've watched some of my YouTube videos, I have this 3-mango theory of solo piano. Okay, the concept is that imagine you have to carry 3 large mangoes home from the supermarket. You forgot your bag. How would you do it, right? And on the piano, the 3 mangoes are the bass, the chords, and the melody. So one solution is that you put just 1 mango in the left hand and 2 in the right. And so if I were going to play the key of the A train doing that, I'd do the bass in the left hand. And then I play the melody and chords in the right. And the chords might be more implied. And when I do this, I move my right hand down. Be unfamiliar. Okay, so a couple things I do different from you. First is I'm not playing a bass line in 4. To me, that is like the last resort of solo piano, because A, it's hard, and B, it's not very pianistic. We're imitating a bass player. So I would play longer notes in the left hand. And then the other thing I did is I brought my right hand down, and the reason is that we want to fill out the chord in this range I call the magic range, around and below middle C. So if we're all the way up here, it's a little tricky to get down there, whereas if I'm covering more of that meaty space. Doesn't mean you always have to play down there, but I want you to experience it. So can you try again with those 2 edits?
Yep.
Everything else is getting the 3rd and the 7th. So I'm not really worried about playing 4-note voicings. I'm just like, how can I find the 3rd and 7th to make this chord sound full? And then the beauty of solo piano is that obviously your 2 hands are sharing the same brain, so you can fill in the missing notes in the bass. So if I'm just holding the 5th here, I might play the 3rd on purpose down there to fill in those kind of things. Also, I could play the melody higher if I wanted, and then really kind of move my right hand back and forth.
Yep.
Second solution, which you did a bunch, is put 2 mangoes in the left hand, so you're putting the bass and the chord in your left hand. And you did kind of what I consider 2 different styles, well 3 actually. One is what I call left-hand shuttle, moving between a low bass and then kind of a traditional rootless voicing. You didn't do the rootless voicing part, you played rooted voicings, and it'll sound a little bit richer if you play a nice 4-note rootless voicing. And then the other way that we put basic chords in the left hand, which I heard you do quite a bit, is shell voices, playing the root and then the third and seventh. Playing a couple A sections. Focus there.
So
Yeah.
what's the difference in that one and the last one we did? Because I know we're going back and forth, but that one, is it just all rootless that you're doing there? Or what?
No, it all has the root.
Oh, okay.
So I've got C on the bottom and then the shell. And it might be just two notes, like that. Make sense? Yeah. Go for it. And then third option is straddle one mango between the two hands. This is the toughest one. I'm not sure you're going to be able to do it spontaneously. Maybe you will. So here both the left hand and the right hand are contributing to the chords. The left hand's playing the bass, the right hand's playing the melody. Here, look, come look at my voicing. So, for this first chord, I'm using the thumb to play two notes here. If anybody wants to come look, feel free. These aren't state secrets. So, there's a big reach in both hands, right? And this is kind of part of that style. To make it easier, I can use Chapa. Right, this is great. Only two fingers in each hand actually needed to play a 6-note voicing. Third, seventh, using that to play the 13th, 9th. Again, just thumbs. Little sus action if you want. So my left hand is almost always at its biggest stretch. A lot of double thumbs. We're in C, which is beautiful. Really helpful to be in C. Wherever I can find, two consecutive white keys or two consecutive black keys. Could hypothetically be. And then mostly aiming for 7th and 3rd and one or two other color tones where I can. I have my students write this out first. I don't really expect you to be able to do it spontaneously, but it'd be a great exercise to write out. Start with some 5-note voicings. Can you? And 6 notes because I have this. Can you figure out a way to play 5-note? So those are my answers to what do I do with my left hand. It's a long way of saying there's a lot of different things that you could do here. You could play a bass line. You could shuttle back and forth, and we didn't talk about stride, which is just shuttling back and forth every beat. Basically the same concept as left hand shuttle, so maybe you're alternating between root and fifth or something. And then you could do bass shells, the bass note, plus the 3rd and the 7th. Or you can combine with the right hand to form the chord. Those to me are like the building blocks of most solo piano. And when you hear the great pianists do it, it's not necessarily that they're going to do one thing, one strategy for a chorus. Like, they move really quickly through these strategies, so that it's really actually sometimes hard to identify what they're doing. Yeah. But like, these are the basic ways of managing those three mangoes, which we have to manage if we're playing solo piano. I hope you guys like mangoes. Follow up?
I need to shut that.
Oh, solo piano. Couple quick other comments. So, you guys can keep standing or sit down if you want. At least today, I was missing legato touch. It felt very above the key. And there was a nice energy to it, but I also want to hear, really imitating a horn. Can you play me that line? Sorry. Okay, we don't have to do it. You got my point though, hopefully. Become Johnny Hodges on those kind of lines. Same things as you're improvising, you heard a lot of, which is okay. But I wanted some more moments where I was really hearing this nice long legato line. Same thing with your left hand. It was very much kind of above the key. Terrible stride playing. But sound-wise, I would say more lateral with the keyboard and play deeper into these. Doesn't mean you can't play light. But you're kind of doing a lot of jumping above the piano, and it's both wasting energy, and it's kind of having this slappy touch where I'm really hearing the fingers and sometimes maybe even the fingernails on the key instead of getting that really nice solid sound. And then last thing, harmonically, I just want more clarity from you. So I have an exercise for you, which is that I would practice improvising all 8 notes. You're only allowed to use the root 3, 5, 7, 9 of each chord. You have to stay within the chord tones. You're putting in a lot of colors, but it's not quite with enough precision for my taste right now, and I'm not hearing the harmony arriving right where I need it to arrive. Do we have time to do just a taste of this? So let's go nice and slow, and you really gotta limit yourself. I'm sorry, it's not time to be more creative, but you can be creative within boundaries. Try it. It's tricky. You really have to think.
While I'm comping?
I'll play the bass for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's okay. Keep playing 8 notes. Figured it out because you did it a couple times at the end, but you were not crossing under in order to get up, which meant that your hand was doing a lot of skipping. You're doing a lot of instead of crossing the thumb under. you to watch out for that as you're playing. And these kind of consistent eighth note exercises, besides like just forcing you to find a note every beat, are really valuable for fingering. Because it forces you to be like, okay, how am I going to find a fingering to keep this line going? So make sure that you're crossing the thumb under in order to move up on the piano.
Okay.
All right, beautiful, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we get a group picture? And then,
Do it.
And I would like to have you sign on that
Oh man,
book.
this is an old book.
Old? I don't
It's
think
like
that's old at all.
15 years old or something.
Yeah. Can we do a selfie? Come over here and then. Apostle, you get the longest arm if you can help me do that. You sure? Okay.
I'm not a jazz person.
Come on.
You are now.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. David, step in. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Can you sign? What would be the good place right here? Okay.